Here we will see ASP.NET Web Page structure. Different important elements of an ASP.NET Web Page are directives, code declaration blocks, ASP.NET controls, code render blocks, server-side comments, server-side include directives, and literal text and HTML tags. First we will see directives. A directive controls how an ASP.NET page is compiled. The beginning of a directive is marked with the characters less than % and @ symbol, and the end of a directive is marked with the characters % and greater than. By default, directive typically appears at the top of an ASP.NET page, but it can appear anywhere within a page. The main types of directives are page and import. First is page directive. A page directive is used to specify the default programming language for a page. Page directives can also be used to enable tracing and debugging for a page. To set the default programming language of an ASP.NET, use the following page directives. Page language equal to C#. That is the code behind language that you are going to use. It may be VB, C# or any other .NET language. Or you can give directly language equal to C#. Another extremely useful page directive is trace directive. If you enable tracing for a page, additional information about the execution of the page is displayed along with the content of the page. You can enable tracing for a page by including the following directives. Page trace equal to true. After enabling tracing for a page, trace messages are displayed by using two methods of a trace class, write and warn. To enable runtime error message to be displayed on a page, you need to use debug directive. To display errors in your ASP.NET page, include the following directives. Page debug equal to true. When this directive is included, if an error is encountered when processing the page, the error is displayed. In most cases, user also can view the source code for the exact statement that generated the error. Next is import directive. Some namespaces are imported into an ASP.NET page by default. If user wishes to use a class that is not contained in the default namespaces, then user must explicitly import the namespace of the class, or he must use the fully qualified name of the class. Import directive can be used as import the namespace system.data.sql client. Next is code declaration blocks. A code declaration block contains all application logic for your ASP.NET page and all the global variable declarations, subroutines and functions. It must appear within a script run at equal to server tag. User can declare subroutines and functions only within a code declaration block. The script tag has two optional parameters. First is language. User can specify the programming language to be used within the script tag. Otherwise, the language specified in page directive is used. That is script language equal to C# run at server. With src parameter, you can specify an external file that contains the code block. That is script equal to run at server and src equal to application logic.aspx. It will use the code written in application logic file to execute in your project. Next is ASP.NET controls. ASP.NET controls can be freely mixed with the text and HTML content of a page. The only requirement is that the control should appear within a form tag, and for certain tags such as span or label, they can appear outside this tag. One significant limitation of ASP.NET pages is that they can contain only one form tag. That is, the user can have only one form per page in ASP.NET. Next is code render block. To execute code within HTML, user can include the code within code render blocks. There are two types of code render blocks. First is inline code, which executes a statement or series of statements. It is marked by the characters less than % and % greater than. Inline expressions display the value of a variable or method. They can be considered as a shorthand notation for the response.write method. They are marked by the characters less than % equal to and % greater than. Next is server-side comments. User can add comments to your ASP.NET pages by using server-side comment blocks. The beginning of a server-side comment is marked with the characters less than %, 2 dash, and at the end of the comment is marked with the 2 dash % greater than. Server-side comments can be added to a page for the purpose of documentation. Note that you cannot see the comments of server-side comment tags, unlike normal HTML comment tags, by using the view source command on web browser. Server-side comments can also be useful when you are debugging an ASP.NET page. User can temporarily remove both ASP.NET controls and code render blocks from a page by surrounding these elements with server-side comments. Next is server-side include directives. User can include a file in an ASP.NET page by using a server-side include directives. It is executed before any of the code in the page is executed. If the file is in the same directory or in a subdirectory of the page including the file, this directive is written as #include file and the file name. You can specify the virtual path of the file. To include a file located in the directory MyASPX under the www root directory, you will write the directive as #include virtual equal to the path of the directory and then file name. Note that it is recommended that you avoid using server-side include directives. It is better to use user control. Next is literal text and HTML tag. User can build the static part of an ASP.NET page using HTML tags and literal text. The HTML content of your page is also compiled along with the rest of the content. The literal text has been made bold and converted to uppercase before being rendered to the browser.